Howdy y'all, it's Trent Knox. Welcome to a Trent Knox show. This is an episode of Creator Economy Talks with Trent Knox, episode number 5 of this series. And let me get everything set up here. Boom. I am so happy to be here, even though maybe it doesn't look like it. Let me give it a little bit of a smile. But what's so cool about this is that so much has changed. So much has been going on as far as content goes, and as far as the distribution of live streamers, the distribution of podcasters, and honestly, the distribution of blogs in a lot of ways has changed since the last time that I did a Creator Economy Talks with Trent Knox. And, I briefly mentioned last time that I did this live stream / podcast that kick.com is now going to take a market share away from Twitch. But I didn't really realize that it would open up a weak spot for YouTube to take a shot at Twitch as well. Twitch, with their API and their interface, has kind of been at the forefront of live streaming, at least in the North American region. Now, outside of North America, there are other platforms like Africa TV and that are out there. What's up, Javier? Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, it's actually interesting you say that, because it's exactly what I'm talking about right now. Is multi-streaming is going to be a big part of this conversation. I posted a blog. I wanted to promote the blog and jump on and talk about the creator economy in that regard. But what I was saying is that outside of North America, but in North America, the big conversation is around these 3 platforms: Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. YouTube, what they've done is they don't have a directory, so to speak, for live broadcasts. They have essentially recommended live streams. So if you are following, let's say, Tim the Tatman on YouTube, and you look at recommended live streams, you're going to see people like Dr. Lupo. You're going to see people like Courage, JD. You're going to see those content creators in their recommended live area, and it varies based on the platform that you're on. So if you're on desktop, it's going to be on the right hand side, right below maybe your statistics or your other recommended videos, and there'll be a tab that says live, and then you have to click that. So it's not a dedicated directory for YouTube live streamers yet, and I don't know if it'll ever get to that point. There is a live, much like there's music and sports directory category, but they really do censor what YouTube live streamers get promoted in the live category on YouTube. So if you're on Fire TV or Google TV or whatnot, and you're on the YouTube application, you're going to see that is in the more section. And the more you interact with live streams on YouTube, they're going to move that feature up into the main directory, I guess, if you want to call it that, or the main sidebar where you see video recommendations. The live portion, though, it has a few different things. It has upcoming live, it has live now, recent live streams, gaming, sports, etc. But these, I don't want to call these super valuable. They're kind of, there's no positioning like you would see on Twitch where you get spotlighted on the homepage, or you're in a social equity promotion or something like that. Like, that doesn't exist on YouTube. But what is starting to develop is a recommended section that associates you with like-minded content creators, or like niche, or similar content. So for instance, you have content creators like Adam22, No Jumper, or Destiny, or like I mentioned earlier, Tim the Tatman, or Dr. Disrespect in the gaming category. And a lot of the live streamers that are on the platform that I get promoted are coming from the gaming niche. And sometimes they streamed on Twitch previously. Sometimes they are solely YouTube streamers that have integrated into this new gaming live streaming area. But you also get traditional political commentators, journalists, and the like that are also starting to filter into that live category. Joe Budden and Queen's Flip, they've started a new weekly broadcast that's on YouTube. And I think a lot of content creators are still diversifying their creative as far as having a membership program on Patreon or something like that. And it's really interesting, that Spotify has formed a partnership with Patreon to incentivize podcasters, or the new platform Spotify for podcasters, which used to be Anchor.fm, to have their membership programs but still be primarily hosted on Spotify. And so, just like my podcast is primarily hosted on Spotify through what used to be Anchor for the Trent Knox Show, and this episode that you're listening to now, it's a small step towards the same democratization that artists and musicians have on the Spotify platform. There are obviously other categories of audio-based content that haven't been fully served yet, such as audiobooks and radio and whatnot. But it is a small step towards a bigger picture of content monetization and empowerment of creators on that platform. Would I like to see it better? Of course, yes. And I kind of, that's a small segue into podcasters, but I do want to talk about live streaming and multi-streaming, as Javier brought it up, and Lavatar Nation, follow him on Twitch and on Twitter, had mentioned it's expanding. Live streaming is expanding. This exclusivity and chokehold that Twitch has had on content creators that do live streaming is loosening up, as the bully pulpit and the aggressive nature of thwarting any growth in this particular technology niche is being decentralized in a lot of different ways. Multi-streaming has always been one of those, and I've always been a big proponent of multi-streaming on multiple different platforms ever since I started playing Madden or Call of Duty on my PlayStation when I first started streaming, to when I did my first live stream on when I was DJing and doing some different things for SoundCloud and whatnot before my SoundCloud account got banned and all that different stuff. But when I was in the studio, then D&D and all the different things that I was streaming back when I lived in Colorado in 2016, 2015 time frame, and the actors workshops, etc. Always been a big proponent of multi-streaming. Now, it was always against the policy to do that if you wanted to become an affiliate or if you want to become a partner on a platform like Twitch. And I'm going to segue to read this Javier's comment. The returns are expanding is why the risk is being reduced, and sort of a compound for new creators. I feel like I hit a sweet spot in the timeline. Oh, absolutely. And you've created content previously before you went, kind of part-time streaming and going towards the full-time streaming, that you kind of have an idea of where it used to be and where it's going. And it is a great time for content creators to start. I said in my TikTok before I went live now that this is the best time for content creators and live streamers to collaborate. The tools that are available for content creators to collaborate are the most advanced, the most robust that they've ever been in the history of online social live streaming. Platforms like StreamYard, which I'm using right now to use the broadcast and the recording, is able to not only record in the cloud, but also able to record a local version of this broadcast using, of course, well, in this case, the CPU, not the GPU. And hopefully in the future, with Chrome updating and whatnot, I can dedicate it to the GPU, but it does use the CPU. And it seems to hold up to it on its own. So all of that to say that the technology is there for content creators to create their communities and then utilize those communities to grow their own niche brands and specific to the needs of their community, and basically service that specific interest versus the broader, more like hope and praying that your broadcast is going to get out there to the people that are interested in what you have to say. And there's a little bit of a process there because you have to kind of develop where your home is, of course, and everyone's going to have a different home as far as their content goes, but they shouldn't be afraid to broaden their broadcast to find a different set of audience or a different set of following on another platform. So, the incentives for partnering right now on Twitch have gone down. Everyone who's been paying attention to the news knows that even the biggest content creators on their platform have been reduced to a 50-50 split of revenue, or they're doing a whole on buyout of their content over the course of a certain amount of quarters or years of being signed to the platform directly, like a direct sponsorship deal. And you have platforms like Kick coming in, advertising and attempting to promise a whole suite of things from a 90-10 split to better advertising to better subscriptions to a robust set of features, and everyone can go, can get deeper rooted into what that actually means and how it actually comes to fruition. We'll see how that plays out, but there are a lot of platforms, and some of them are more creative based, like YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. And some of them are more professional based, even though, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's primarily a platform for journalists to get their information out there, and it kind of develops into other conversations based on cultural feedback and basically Q&A and a lot of different things. But Twitter as a resource journalists have really found a home there as far as getting a short bite-sized message out there alongside a twit longer or a Substack or even, a large press and news media outlet like New York Times or Washington Post or something like that, where we can start to see the development of that on a large scale level with, I believe is Matt Taibbi, who did testify before Congress and about like the platform in general, and the Twitter leaks and etc. But that platform still has a live functionality. I know they're reducing they're kind of playing around and doing different things as far as video goes and video retention. I know that they've recently announced that they're going to start removing old videos from the platform, but it is a platform that is slightly creative, slightly professional. Then you have your Facebook and your LinkedIn, and these are all sort of platforms that speak to a North American audience on a larger scale. But we should be considering the global nature of the internet. And a lot of the times content creators don't do this. I mean, they kind of have this perception that whether they're being botted or they're view botting or they're chat botting or whatever, that their audience is primarily North American and that's primarily English speaking. But in reality, a lot of the viewership that comes in is from around the world. Some of them are bilingual. Sometimes they're just, people learning new language. There's a lot of reasons why, like viewers tune into a particular streamers or content creators broadcasts or videos, and that kind of is developing over time as new feature sets and new tools are put in the hands of content creators, such as real-time transcription and real-time translation, as far as what AI is doing now with real-time transcription and real-time translation. And then on top of that, there's a big push in the artificial intelligence component of how artificial intelligence is moving the needle in the creator economy and content creation as a whole, with blogging, with podcasting, and eventually live streaming. I mean, there's a good amount of content creators out now that are faceless content creators. I don't know if that's a proper terminology, but a category of people who do streaming without a webcam that represent themselves with a digital identity. The VTubers as well. I was just about to get to that. VTubers who are out there creating content. But there are a number of different, and I guess VTubers actually kind of covers it all in a lot of different ways, other than because there's the two-dimensional avatars, but I was thinking more of the more VR chat aspect of 3D avatars and the synchronization of motion capture and what they've been able to do in innovation in another category of technology with virtual reality. But this concept that content creators can start to create multiple different brands and identities and not be tied down to their God-given or natural identity, I should say, or whatever the politically correct way of saying that is these days. And they're able to create a digital identity that is commercial, can be commercialized, that is duplicatable, and that's how you start to get what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of like animated celebrities. I guess I'm trying to think of like the most popular ones currently. Most of them are anime stars and they're anime figures, but eventually it'll be the similar ones as to like Tony the Tiger or like Goofy or Mickey Mouse, or any sort of mascot that represents a brand can start to have their own characterization and branding about their personality, and especially with the way that voice modulators are advancing as well, to where the one particular voice actor, even if it's just a natural voice actor, can speak to the development and creative of if we use the more broad term VTuber to kind of create an ecosystem of products that they can monetize around the brand of that VTuber. And that's just like mind blowing, just to think that that's the level of sophistication and content creation that we've gotten to compared to 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And yeah, of course there was, graphic designers and cartoonists and I just want to think of Imagineers because that's the way I think of it. These Disney artists that develop these characters, and now that's coming into real time animation of those characters is just so mind blowing and baffling to think of, like how creative we have been able to become as a community of content creators. If I include myself in that group at all. And so, like, just to kind of recap, it's never been easier for content creators to create content and collaborate on the content that they're creating alongside both not only real people, but programs and computers that assist you in creating that content. I should probably, in future podcasts, I should have like a little bit of an agenda, but I like to come on here and just kind of mind dump or data dump the things that are on my mind. I don't want to like get caught up too much in the weeds of the pre-production component of it, but because live streaming has this organic and native feeling to it that if you just go live, there it is. But the point to say that is that if there was a way to illustrate in the video, I don't know how you would kind of correlate the audio, those podcast listeners out there that just listen to the audio, but showcasing how the way that things like Unreal Engine 5 have been able to be animated using artificial intelligence in a virtual reality, so that you can go into, let's say, an Oculus Pro, do the design work in a very rudimentary way, in a very elementary way, that the AI then creates and utilizes assets from Unity or through Blender or whatever environment, and creates a virtual world that then can be sold as art or put on an NFT blockchain, or put out for the online consumers to explore in the artist's artwork. It's just so wild that we're so privileged to have these tools and be able to enjoy and be entertained by the creativity of today's artists. It's great that, historical artists out there are, well, that's another thing. That's a whole nother thing, is that because we have the technology that we have today, that AI can reanimate artists like Plato, artists like Da Vinci, artists like that. They're reanimating historical figures like Caesar and Winston Churchill, and these people who established and built the foundation for what society is like today. That we end up being able to coexist and live with both in the future and in the past, simultaneously. It's a wild concept to like really think about, that technology has brought this and presented it on our doorstep. Now it's just a matter of creative people like I say, I don't know how much I can include myself in this community, but in the creative community, I feel there's so much opportunity, and to go out there and talk to other content creators and other creatives and workshop the ideas that you have in your head, to make them come to fruition, come to life in a lot of ways. And I have, fortunately, a lot of folks that I'm able to touch base with and use in my community and my network to make that happen. One of those things that's going to be beneficial on the business side, because I am very business minded and systems focused and application driven. This Wednesday, I'll be doing a daytime speaking event in North Austin, where I'm going to be talking about automation in the creator economy and how software is improving the streamlined aspect and connection between consumers and producers. It's really a real I hope I'll get the content and then be able to repurpose that further for the audience and followers and my followers, pardon me. That's going to be the Tipalti the Tipalti Elevate event 2023 Austin stop and of their road show. And I'm joined by very intelligent, sophisticated, talented people. I just put it that way. And we're going to be talking about this subject of automation in the creator economy, and I hope that they provide me with the video so that I can share it with the audience, and then there's an opportunity for people to peek behind the curtain on how these technologies actually function. The infrastructure behind what enables a singular content creator or a group of content creators to make the content that they like to make, and then be able to, afford to do that through being paid by advertisers, marketers, being paid by their followers, etc., through subscription or through donations or what have you. And so that's going to be that main conversation around automation and how Tipalti answers that. And there's another platform, Flow Sports, and another consultancy that speaks to more of the organization component of these larger organizations. And so it's going to be a really exciting event. There's going to be lunch. There's going to be networking opportunity. And then as far as the rest of the week goes, also going on concurrently right now is Nvidia GTC, which is I don't even know where to start. Keynote happens tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to hearing the keynote on that. I heard their CEO speak recently during South by Southwest on the technology that Nvidia has brought to the table as far as cloud computing goes, and it's just so mind-boggling that the ability for these CEOs and C-suite people to bring together all this talent. And it doesn't always work according to plan. You get good employees, you get bad employees, you get good contractors, you get bad contractors, you get good C-suite, you get bad C-suite, some that'll sandbag, some that are overzealous. The balance is never 100% perfect, but they've been able to accomplish so much to offer content creators like myself, the cleanness of a broadcast like this, using like right now I'm using outdated technology. It's not the most cutting edge or bleeding edge technology that I'm using. It's 2017 technology. Maybe even earlier than that, 2016, 2015 technology, to make this broadcast happen. It's so fascinating, you know. Obviously the RTX card and the Elgato and etc. But once you start looking at it, it's like the fundamental ideas and concepts under the technology that I'm using have existed. They've just not been packaged. And today it's packaged in such a way that I'm able to do this broadcast and reach thousands of followers and thousands of listeners and viewers that I never would have been able to visit or reach 10, 20 years ago. In between 10 to 20 years ago. I say that, but I mean at this level, at this quality, 480p maybe, 720p maybe, but not 1080p or 4K as far as video broadcasting goes. It's really, really, really exciting, and there's more to say about this. And as far as the creator economy goes, the funnels are getting even more improved as far as being able to reach people in short format, as far as getting that medium-sized format as well in the form of clips. So there's really a number of categories. There's a number of types of video content right now. You have your shorts, which are like YouTube shorts or your TikToks or your Instagram reels. Then you have like a medium format, which are the clips that are like on Twitch or on YouTube right now. And then the longer format things like podcasts, live streams, and videos and movies and that type of content. Really exciting stuff. And not to mention, so I just want to say this, on March 27th, I'm going to be hosting a social audio event. I haven't hosted a social audio event of this scale since during the pandemic on Clubhouse. But this conversation is going to be one of those real conversations, talking with real grassroots, tier 2 and tier 1 eSports organizers and tournament operators and team owners, etc. in the eSports space. We're going to do a round robin style showcase where we're going to do 5 speakers at a time. There's going to be introduction, again, 5 introductions out the way. Then we're going to do one question, round the table debate about that conversation. Then we're going to intermix the we're going to move those speakers off of the stage. We're going to bring in another set of 5 introductions around the table, question around the table, move those speakers, and we're going to have like a swift rotation going on. And there's going to be bumps in the roads, and we're going to have to, we're going to figure it out exactly how that works out. Social audio is a whole new medium and format to deal with. And, I want to make sure that it's real concise and that the opportunity for people to get their voice out there is really enabling them and empowering them to continue to doing the great work that they do behind the scenes for for gaming and esports, I should say. I'm not excluding anybody who's doing casual gaming work or doing leisurely activities or any sort of entertainment or casual gameplay. That's not excluded in this meetup, but it's going to be gaming and esports. There's, we're going to be specific to video games and competitive gaming. In the future, maybe we'll do cosplay, maybe we'll do anime, we'll do some, Comic-Con type things, but we're building a foundation off of the current network that I have, and we have registered now close to 400 attendees, and really excited and really happy that that's happening. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops, because the future of that, I think, ends up being where we organize in such a way that we can have those speakers engaged, and then break off into potentially a webinar-esque breakout rooms for on Google Meets or Zoom or something like that. And it'll be really exciting because that'll give the opportunity to do something more like a speed networking component. A lot of the issues, I believe, that happen in eSports is because, or gaming in general, actually, a lot of the issues I find that are in gaming, and I think this is across the board in any industry, is that people, they tend to like not get a good impression or a diverse understanding of what types of personalities are in their own niche or their own industry. And so it'll be really exciting to open up the doors for those who are open-minded and open to, finding those supporters out there for their brand and the people that they can collaborate and partner with, because along my journey, that's how I've gotten to where I'm at today as far as partnerships go. I participated on LinkedIn and then established a few different partnerships along the way on that platform, including a partnership with StreamYard. I would just say a partnership. This is more an affiliation. I have an affiliation with StreamYard, as that's the platform that I'm using. I would like to develop a partnership with StreamYard and use it within my curriculum and within my coaching sessions and consulting sessions as a tool to empower content creators. And I think that's going to be super valuable in the future. So if that's something that's something that interests you, I can set up a meeting with StreamYard. Just go to streamyard.com/ well, that's not right. Don't forget that. Go to the ticker symbol at the bottom, has all of my different links, and I believe StreamYard is one of those links that's in that platform, or on my platform, on my website. I also released a book for content marketing, a compilation book of ideas and a funneling piece that if you read the book, you get an idea of how to step-by-step build your brand, and then use content to advertise and market your brand out to potential clients, potential followers, any customers, etc. It's a book I spent a little bit of time thinking about, and then putting most of the time into producing. And I see it as a stepping stone, really, because even in my own experience, I've read many books on business and marketing and sales, and I can name a number of them. And I have I believe a kit list of the books that I would recommend, or audiobooks rather, that I would recommend listening to or reading, the digital version or the buying a physical copy of them on my kit list. I believe it's entrepreneurship books or something along that lines as far as the kit goes. But yeah, kit.com. No. That's not right. Kit.co, I believe. I don't know. Anyway, that's in the links as well. I'm terrible at promoting the links that I have as far as remembering what they actually are. But if you go to TrentKnox.com/links, everything should be there. If it's not there, then definitely feel free to reach out to me to get the proper direction and guidance as far as that goes. on a deeper level, definitely go to my scheduling calendar and look at something that fits what your needs are. I'm happy to be of any assistance in your content creator journey. I'm opening up to more of content creators and consulting on that level. Look, I've put a lot of hours into research and study, more hours than I've put into actually producing content, which is probably the reason why that I actually haven't really built a huge following or anything like that. If I'd put more hours into creating content, I think I would, and publishing more content, I think I'd have a much larger following. But I've focused on, first, let me understand the funnel as far as providing value goes for the best price and the maximum quality and everything. It is a triangle of you get three options. You get fast, good, or what is it? The three Qs, whatever: quick, quality, and quantity. Like, you want more of it, you gotta give up quickness. You want better quality, you gotta give up the amount of quantity. Those three Qs. Anywho, all that said is, like, I've got my schedule on there as far as consulting, consulting, advising, and coaching goes. So you can get a free consulting session. If you want to get advice from me, book a longer session. So if you want to go on the coaching route and we talk about your goals and directives and everything like that on a deeper level, you can work with me as a coach. And we build your business together as we're building our businesses together. And I can give you a little bit of advice of where I'm at in my business stage. And, it's not, okay. You can always look for advice from people ahead of you or behind you in this race. It's a matter of perspective on everything. I am constantly seeking out advice, getting courses, purchasing consulting, purchasing education models to learn more about how I can be more efficient in my behind the scenes business. The contributions that I make to other people's programs, and it's coming to it's about time for me to really release the knowledge that I've developed on my own brand. And I gotta, in a lot of ways, this pivot away from building brands, like building Austin Live and Local, building Cyber City Media, building eSports Business Network, into building the personal brand for Trent Knox. I gotta give credit to Knives Monroe. We had a call about 6 months ago, I want to say, and it really opened my eyes. I don't really remember the exact words, or it really opened my ears, not necessarily my eyes. Opened my ears to an idea that a lot of the things that I started off as an entrepreneur building, they were a reflection of myself. And I steered away from that because when at that time, back 2015, 2016, and even previously to 2012, I was struggling to build that identity of who Trent Knox is. And through the development of other brands, like way previously, if we're talking about Colorado Springs, the artist group and working for Roaring Success and what have you, taking those brands and then building it to the Austin Live and Local, the Cyber City Media, the eSports Business Network. That development built the character Trent Knox. Without those experiences, Trent Knox doesn't exist. Not really. Not in the same way that it would if I hadn't built those external brands, because it's a different vantage point. It's a different perspective on brand building, and I use those as the evidence of success for myself. That there were wins that were very big for someone who comes from some place where people don't build brands. They work hard as an employee, or they contract for the local business. They don't build their own businesses at that level. They just, my family, the people that I know, hadn't done that. And even if the businesses that were family friends or something like that, they weren't driving in the direction that I built those brands to. So it's interesting to take the experience from building those brands and then build the personal brand of Trent Knox based on what I've learned through that process. And that process, I believe, is the true value and experience that I've gotten, that I can bestow or lend a helping hand to other content creators, and why I started working on this creator economy consulting that I've begun doing to help other content creators. Because everyone starts out from zero, and I remember when I started out from zero, some people are less nervous and less afraid. If you're nervous and afraid, that's one big thing. Like being afraid to create content, whether you feel like that your family or your friends or society is going to give you a negative feedback, and maybe you can't emotionally deal with that emotional stress. I went through that emotional stress, and I know what that's like, and I can relate to you, and I can give you the strength and guidance in order to publish that first video, take that first photo, write that first blog, get your voice heard. In yes, online media is a vacuum. When you publish it can just kind of like go out to the middle of nowhere with you could do all the perfect marketing, all the perfect keywords, all of that, and it just doesn't catch. Sometimes it'll just be the as they say, the meme goes, the low quality vids. It's always the low quality vids. It's the content that you never thought was going to be successful that starts trending and goes viral, and that's what builds your following, and then you end up becoming the person that is. But hey, it's that's the game. That's how content creation goes. But don't hesitate to reach out if you feel like there's this hesitancy or fear or whatnot around content creation, because I can help you get over that. Just book a session with me, and we'll talk about the content creation that you're looking to do. And as we kind of come to a close here, once again, I wrote a book. It's published on Amazon. You'll see it in the links of this video in the description. I'm trying to think of anything else that's been going on. I'm in the process of building a school. And I learned these things through the clients that I've worked with and everything like that. And this school is going to be for content creators. I know people have reached out on Instagram, and on Twitter, asking for some guidance as far as the book goes, to like the next steps as far as like, so they read the book, but then they don't quite understand the applications that what are all these softwares? Why do we need all of these things to build the brand? Well, if they're doing, and a lot of this is conversation around like more niche things like crafts, crafts like epoxy stuff, or like building their Etsy business, or selling products on Amazon or stuff like that, and being creating content around the drop shipping or direct to consumer type environment. But the school will be more geared toward content creators. It's going to be called the Content Creation Academy, or Content Creator Academy rather, and it'll be available through my website and through a few other places, but it'll be a step-by-step process of particular things. And there should be video and audio involved in a quiz set. And at the very end of that, you'll get a certificate from the Content Creator Academy that will then, you can add it to LinkedIn or something like that as an example of having gone through a program. And I'm not saying that my program or my school is going to be the best, because I highly recommend, like I have done, going and taking online courses, credentialing from those online courses. Some of them you share, some of them you don't. There's just a process, obviously, of deciding what you value and what you believe others will value in your certification process. There are, if you're not a content creator, you know this from the more technical work that a lot of people do with, whether it be IT or health and wellness or science or whatnot. There's a lot of certificates and to get out there for different programs. But I do think that, in the content creator world, content creation is mostly about shipping products, or shouldn't say shipping products, publishing work. But there's a whole component to learning, and you can always learn from other content creators more tips, tricks, and ways to do things. And I personally, I understand the sort of snake oil that goes around as far as a lot of programs go. So my goal is, with the books and the programs that I publish and I make, for them to be tools, more or less, that you can use in your content creation, and less telling you what content to create, rather tools for you to use in the content creation process, and more like a floppy disk or a USB drive than a piece of paper, right? And I would rather ship a AI chatbot that coaches you to do all the content creation in the world that you would like, opposed to a paperclip, a paperclip that you point in the air and you try to wave like it's a magic wand for miraculous things to happen. That's the dichotomy of it, right? But the differentiation between the snake oil and the magic potion. So all that to say, I appreciate everyone for tuning into this live stream and into this and to the podcast if you're listening. Again, my name is Trent Knox. This has been Creator Economy Talks number 5 with Trent Knox. This is the Trent Knox Show. And if you found any value in listening to this, I would say go check out the website, TrentKnox.com. Trent Knox TV on pretty much all the platforms, or just Trent Knox will find me. And until next time, keep creating content, and thank you for tuning in.